Greetings, technology enthusiasts. I am Chandrahas and I am delighted to be here with you representing CyberBrainer. Do you not believe that the technology sector is advancing at an unprecedented rate, making this an opportune moment to acquire the skills that will facilitate your progress? With CyberBrainer, we are empowering you to take control of your own future. At CyberBrainer, we do not merely impart your interests. We assert that information is power, yet it is the application of knowledge that distinguishes you. Our courses are meant to equip you with essential skills, whether you are pursuing data science, understanding artificial intelligence, or delving into cybersecurity. Let us commence the session and seize the future today. Thank you.
You wanted hours correct. This is the way it will flow. You add hours, the revenue would start decrementing because the cost has been associated with you. Alright, this is basically done when you are working on a project. And if you are not working on a project, if you want to have a cost allocation or cost center of utilization of a worker, how much hours it is working for any particular cost center, for example. Let's take an example. Human resources in the cost center, and yet they want to know the efficiency of the cost center. How much hours does each employee is putting in that particular cost center? Alright, what will happen? You enter hours, create a report, you will get the efficiency. If we are adding 40 hours, regular 40 hours for project, we would add the same into the CAS cost center as well. Like first of all, we will add into the project timing. Then we will also add into the cost center as well. You will not add twice, you will add once. It will automatically flow to the respective areas. The respective cost center or business unit you mean. Correct. We don't have to go more expertly and add to that particular calculation text. We don't need to do externally on that you have. You add only once and it will flow to both of the area. Alright, today we are going to talk about a very good important thing, that is the UI part, and that is one of the important part of working, alright, when it comes time tracking. Alright, and that is known as the time entry template. Alright, for example, let's take an example. For example, Betty Wright. I cannot see Betty. People go to start proxy and proxy as Joybanks because it's not. They didn't give me the super user when I asked them. Many One second. For example, you have a worker like Joybanks. She's entering time because she has a time entry template. Until and unless she doesn't have the time entry template, she won't be able to enter the time. She doesn't have enter time. That's what I'm also wondering what happened. She doesn't have enter time. If this is the scenario, she doesn't have enter time. Suppose we got this decade, how to resolve it? She has a period, she do time entry template, or what should we tell it? That means she doesn't have the access. First, we need to check all these three. This is the time card. This is the UI version of time card. This is the UI version. Alright, now the screen has loaded. You see on the top right, that is the summary of each total and this is the time card. How to configure a time card? The first thing would be time card is known as the time entry template and that is only one for every worker. A worker cannot have more than one time entry template. That is the rule. Alright. The only task to make a time entry template is create time entry template. That is the only task that everybody is using. Create time entry template. The first thing, that is create time entry template, is what is the need. For example, you also create time entry template not for individual workers. You create for a group. That is the way you create for a group. Similarly, you create for a group in time entry template. For example, you create a population like population in the United States who are using time tracking. Alright. Similarly, non-exam and exam workers. Alright. They are now segregated into two parts, non-exam and exam. If they both are using time tracking and they are using different kind of time tracking, then you will have two different time tracking. The next thing is location address, country is USA, worker is exam. That is one template. Similarly, the other template would be location address country in the United States. Worker is exempt. You will create two templates. Correct. Alright. Let's take an example and make a test. Time entry template. You see a default time entry code. What does that mean? Whenever you enter, alright, whenever you enter time, the time tag. Here it is showing blank, but automatically the value would come up, like for example hours code, if it is coming default, without adding any value, which means your time entry template has a default time entry code. For example, let's take an example. not this one. Which means whenever the worker would be entering time, he or she would automatically see this is the default time entry code, right? And request code. Overtime. Request code is generally overtime. Overtime request code is like you can ask overtime request for future dated events. Like for example, hey manager, I will be working on Friday late night. I will be requesting you for overtime. Alright? Predictive overtime, you can see. Alright? You cannot delete a time tag. You can inactive a time tag. Alright? Alright? You can remove the eligibility. That is one time of inactivation, or you can inactive like this. In our work schedule means the time tag would refresh automatically by itself. Alright. That is the one which means you will get delete. Alright. When you click on that. The calculation. In time tracking, what happens? The calculation feature there in background. They do not get refresh automatically. Like this, they will not get refresh. They have a run calculation kind of a setup, like the way I will show you. Run calculation, which means refreshing the calculation. That is the one. Reflect the updates. Reflect the changes. Alright? 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 There is the first part. Now let's move to this part. If we enable this particular checkbox, like enable work disk scheduling, it will automatically refresh the run calculations you mean. Not necessarily. It is basically used to schedule any transaction which is happening in Workday. And time entry needs to be replicated to the next week. Right? That is the basic like terminology. I don't check it. Sometimes because we have other options also from the calendar. In and out option. What does that mean? When you go to the enter time and you click over here, you see a new popping window. You see out the reason. Over here. If you make it as out and meal, out meal break. What you will see over here? Let's do an experiment on Logan McLean's 10 car. Alright? That it will be more easier for you. Alright? Let's make changes over here. You see out only. What I need? I'll make it out meal break. And I click. You see the option. But for example, we can select whatever the option we want. For example, I came as a training. I start at 10 am. This is not the one. You know, I started at 10 am. And the reason behind me ending is my meal. And I think you can have any break in, break in, in out, in out, in out. How many kind of default pattern you can have? Like you can have in out, you came and you went out. Or you can have in, you came, you had meal. Then again you entered time. Then you had great. Then again you entered time and then you went. Right? Time clock, time clock. And time clock is when there is an integration like, for example, function punch out. Punching punch out. Whenever a worker does this directly goes to that time clock. Like you don't enter time like 9 o'clock. It is exact precise time. Punching punch out. That is the reason time clock event open. Maximum time clock block duration. Basically 24 hours. And you can have it like 0. It will not create any chaos. Prevent matching for consecutive checking. Prevent matching from consecutive. Checking means I have checked in at 9. Now, checked in at 9 am. Checked out at 11 am. In and out. And again after I checked in 11 am. Which means it will not allow it to check in at 11 am. Because you have went out at 11 am. Correct? Which is like match, in and out shall not match. That is, preventing matching of consecutive. Want workers on consecutive checking. Either you can have this or you can have this. Want means like if that consecutive matching is happening. You can warn your worker with a message that this is a consecutive message. You can have it 1 minute later, 1 second later, 10 seconds later. Something like that. Track in and out as optional seconds. What does that mean? I'm taking both of them and now you will see the difference. You see there is no mandatory box, a where in out, which means you have entered time. Click. The time is in the book, but that is the incomplete time. Because why can you do that? Our time is not specified. Absolutely correct. That is the reason. You're not able to see the now what the employee would do. And they would go ahead and mention that. Then there is no purpose. If it is not mandatory, there is no purpose of in and out in the first place. But until the proof that is not created, the worker will not be able to submit the time. The review you see over the review box. It came when the block was created. Correct. You can have an optional over there, but the worker will not be able to submit the time. The incomplete blocks is now a complete box. Alright, that is one thing. Time calculations, time of calculations. This is something you don't need to worry about. This is something like time, all about the background calculation like overtime calculation, on the day calculations, double time, time blocks, conditional calculation. This is the entire section that we are going to learn after time. And there will be time calculations. And I will calculate a time of. Enable calculator time off means you are entering time off from your time tracking itself. Alright? And you have a pre-planned time off. You can add time off to your time entry calendar. For that, this enable time off, calculator time off is a need to rise. And by the time you are making your time entry template rise, you have to mention that particular day. Alright? That is the reason. But this time off is related to leave and absence, right? Exact. Connection of two models. Time blocks for breaks. What does that mean? Time blocks for breaks means in a day it will mention like around 12 p.m. or sometime. Exact. This will create automatically a break in the time template. Exact. Correct. We entered a meal time around instead of 12. However, you can enter right now. Can we override it? Any other block? In and out. In and out. Go ahead. Enter that. In and out. In and out. In and out. I specified the break here, particularly at this point. Again, you re-enter after like what is it? End date you have added. You have added 4 hours. Correct? Now do one thing. Take on the same day. Little lower. Time from term. 2 to 6. And that is the out. Basically, it will display those. 2 they're working after that. There is a break and after that it will show that. It will display that whether it is a break or out. Is it correct? No block has generated. 2. Keep on that. Rick, out reason is a break. Got? Alright, you understand the point. Correct? Alright, let's edit the time report. I hope you are understanding the session. We are not going very fast. We are going very slow and steady. Alright? Now you understand this part. Copy the work time for the base. The work time is like the way it is there in the time entry template, time entry code, the business and other unit. You can add it in the break itself. Now you saw the work, that these are the work that you have in the work. That when you add the work, that whichever time entry code is using that particular work, that would get displayed in your time entry template. In real time, we will use the work text as well, right? Which cost center we need to select and which division, sometimes which location. It is client specific, of course. Whatever the requirements we are getting, now whatever the time tags we enter, like the cost center, we are selecting the division as well as the location. Is that in real time? Are the clients specific to these work tags? Click in the discussion. They will tell you. Alright, let's go to the calendar. The only option is weekly, like how you want to see the calendar. That is a new one. You want to see in weekly, you want to see in monthly. Can you just give me the access control? You want to see monthly, you want to see weekly. There are two options. Right now, the time is based on weekly. Correct? Week entry method. Auto free prior, auto free quick add. I'm just entering all of them. Alright. Now go to the time card. Time card of no one. You didn't go to the time. Go to log. You got logged out? No, I didn't. Go to login. This is the one. The time for login. We want me to select in and out. Go to the top right actions. Top right actions. Are you able to see it? Right under, next to login. The summary. Action button and there's an arrow. No, 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 no. The top right times are near to the week. Close that. I'm closing it. Much of time. No worry. Once you click over there, you'll see a lot of options. And now that I'll tell you what are the things, here you will go to actions right. Whatever you enable in the time card template, all will display here. That's what you mean. You will see auto fill from the entire week. Whatever amount of hours you have added to your week and you want to replicate on the same week, you click over there. Click over there and open it in the new tab. This one auto fill from schedule. Auto fill from schedule and auto fill from the entire week. Open and see if any. Whatever the prior week you are selecting, it will reflect in the next week. This current week. What I mean is that, see here. This means copy whatever the previous week's data into here. Then we can add the hours. Now autofill from schedule. Do it from auto fill from schedule for this week. Did you do that? I just clicked it. No problem. You can refresh the screen all the time. It is showing like, why it is showing error? Auto fill from schedule is not allowed because project entry is enabled through the time entry templated project time. Don't select the project one. No, I am clicking on this particular option right. It is displaying the error. Next week. Next week. And now do it. Go to the entry template. The nearest one. Edit. Yes, sorry, edit it. Yes, we have to go. No, 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 no. You will access the portal. Oh, it's one of them. Refresh. You got the automatically added all those hours, whatever the hours of the previous week to the next week, instead of manually adding. You got it. You can see that it is automatically added from the schedule. Sometimes when the employee is very hectic in schedule, maybe he will do the same thing because anyway, these are the regular hours. I need to copy all these schedule hours. Exactly. Right. Go to the action table. There's options here. You can clear it. Clear, 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 clear. Third option, clear. It will remove the all entries from the time. When we are doing this, is there any business process trigger? No, right. No business process will trigger except because we have only a few business process here in time tracking. What you're trying, what is your question? I couldn't get it. No, somewhere it should audit, right? No, you have like any entry which is submitted or which has been submitted or not submitted. You can audit it through audit trails as well as they are reports. You need to create a report for that. And in general scenario, in general practice, people do create reports. Time entered but not submitted, time submitted but not approved. These are kind of reports. Are there any regular audit reports when we need to check while configuring them? Generally it is payroll. All the time payroll check it. Payroll partner check that kind of report. Alright. Alright, go to again actions. This is one of the interesting things when you see dynamic changes happening. Enter absence. Enter time by type. Enter time by week, my team overtime. Quick add review time. What I'm going to give you a homework. You have to do all these things. Alright? You have a homework piled up. You have to do all these things and give me a presentation tomorrow. Will that be fine? Are you going to have the bandwidth? I will take 2 days. I cannot see. I don't know. Like what enter time by type means. You do experiment. That is the reason I'm saying you do experiments. Alright? And come back with the answers. Today, this thing you do today, the previous homework, you can do it in the weekend. Alright? Your homework is getting piled up. I know, but I'll give you an ample amount of time. Don't worry about it. I have to enter the absence as well. I don't think. Everything. Everything. And tomorrow give me a presentation. What is what? If you don't know anything, that is fine. I'm there to answer. But I have to know all these things right. While enter absence to entering absence to time tracking calendar. I want you to explore the things. Just as a child, you don't know anything. You just click and see what are the things. Alright? And the fundamentals. I'll give you the way I used to do all those items. You got to know like what is this all about? Similarly, these are the things that we'll see a catch on this. Alright, I need to know what are exactly these, how it works. Thank you. We'll do this. Alright, I need this to be done today. Alright, do any work and create a time and date and click only first two. You need a time and a template with your name or whatever you want. And then this second time. Then second that only create that. We know a little bit in the thing. Create that and we'll analyze those items tomorrow. Alright? Are we going to be doing good? Not too fast. Because the boring part will start after completing this time and date. It will be more boring stuff. Trust me, it is going to be more boring. And you are going to be bombarded with a lot of queries. You are mentioning like this is the time card, right? Whatever we are entering, this is the time card. Behind this time card, there is a time entry template. Because whatever you do in time, entry template will reflect in time. But these are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, our previous schedules. Just want to relate each one. That's right. You start like the patterns, like for example, I name to 8am. In and out, all these patterns. Exactly. But I am clear. You can relate now. Now you will be able to do it all right. I think you're probably on a good pace. I will try tomorrow. And we'll go on a new topic. Alright? Thank you. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.